What's up everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. My name is Whack4863, but you can call me Whack. Today I want to talk to you about that one resource that every game seems to need to make it from the beginning to the end of the game. And for Smalland, this is the seeds. So there are an absolute ton of recipes that require seeds or a seed derivative, whether that's the seed oil or the flour or the seed itself. And that goes for the late game weapons where you're going to need the refined wood. It goes for some of the food items, the really good food items, as well as the potions. Almost everything that you're going to want for late game, and even some things that you're going to want for early game, are going to require seeds in some sort of way. Every single potion that you brew is going to require seed oil in order to brew it. There is no exception to that. And some of the late game foods require 5 seeds in order to make the flour. So it's very important that you get started on stocking up on seeds, or at least know where to get them for when you need to use them. So in this video, I thought it would be good if I just showed you the different plants that drop seeds. That way you know what you're looking for when you're out adventuring. And I'll give you a couple of tree recommendations that have a lot of these resources surrounding them so that you can claim that tree and hang out and farm a lot of seeds when you're in that area. Likely the first one that you're going to come across is the rye. The rye can be found across the map. In fact, most of these resources can be found across the map. However, there are areas that have more of these resources than others, so there can be patches where you find an absolute ton. But rye is the first one, and you can harvest this right away with your wood hatchet. It's very easy to notice rye around the world because it has the tan bulbs at the top of this plant. The next one on our list is the poppy. It can be found around the map. However, I've found a couple of trees where they are highly concentrated. They do have a lot of bees around those concentrated areas, but if you're careful, you don't actually have to interact with the bees, and you can harvest a lot of poppies. You can harvest this with a wood hatchet or better. The poppy also drops petals and nectar, which are both required resources for crafting potions. Both the areas where these are highly populated are close to the great trees, and I've got a video showing this one, and I'll link that in the top right hand corner of this video. This location is close to Scotty. There's another location that I'll show you a little bit later on in the video, and that location has some other really good resources that you would use more in your late game play. The next on our list is the foxtail. You'll find these near water in the sandy areas. Now you are going to need a crude axe or better in order to harvest them. However, I do find that more often than not, I get more seeds from a foxtail than the other resources that I've shown in this video so far, where these are dropping 2 to 3 seeds. So definitely don't pass up the foxtails when you're in the area to harvest these, again, near bodies of water in sandy areas. The next one on the list is like the poppy. It is going to drop the petals and the nectar as well, but this is cyclamen. This is something you're not going to come across until kind of late game unless you're someone that really just wants to explore early on. And for this, you're going to need a flint axe or better in order to harvest this. This guy is also dropping 2 to 3 seeds every time, as well as those other really good resources for potion crafting. So when you come across these guys, definitely make sure you hit them up for their resources, because you are going to get a lot more for your time when harvesting these over the other resources I've showed you so far. And these are going to be found in the lower half of the map on that bottom island. This is a more dangerous area, so I don't recommend coming down here too early in order to harvest these things, because the enemies around this area are very difficult and tough. So I recommend harvesting the other things that I've shown in this video, and then once you are at the late game or end game stage, go ahead and come down here to harvest these instead, because they are going to give you the increased drops of those resources. All right, the last thing that I want to show you guys today is this other tree where I recommend spending some time hanging out. So it's up in this area. It's close to where you get the bee armor. And the reason why is because it has a lot of poppies around it. It's got a lot of rye, but in addition to that, it actually has a lot of garlic. And garlic is one of the main ingredients for the late game food that's actually going to give you protection against the elements. That's what I use in the colder months so that I don't have to change my armor to something that doesn't have as much armor but has higher cold protection. So I'm using the Fey chowder for that, and one of the main ingredients is that garlic, and this location, this tree, just happens to have a lot of these different resources around it, and I think this is a really good spot to just hang out and get a lot of seeds, a lot of garlic, a lot of the nectar and the petals. This is another really good spot. It does have quite a few bees around it, but again, if you're careful, you really don't even need to interact with those bees. You can get around them and get all the harvesting done that you need. Let me know in the comment section if there's any resources that you're having a hard time finding, and I'll put a guide together showing those resources. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. If you'd like to become a legend, there's a button that says join on this page. Click that for details. There's 2 videos on the screen. Click one of those to watch next, and I'll meet you over there.